This viral video of a Department of Homeland Security employee hurling a Subway sandwich at one of Trump's federal agents is blowing up both online and in Trump's face right now, as it is completely undermining his catastrophic crackdown in DC. Allow me to explain. You see, Donald Trump's failed federal takeover of our nation's capital was already backfiring on him as DC residents filmed themselves trolling federal agents and booing them off of the streets.
Here's a real cop. He has a badge, he has insignia, and he has his name on his chest. That's a real cop.
Fuck no! He harasses citizens, he's not a real cop.
And I have a full compilation of all of that footage later in the video, so you can either stick around or check the time codes down below. But then, the entire fiasco went absolutely nuclear and became the bane of the Trump administration's existence after their off-the-charts hypocritical response to this incident made Trump, Pam Bondi, Jeanine Pirro, and the entire Department of Homeland Security the laughingstock of the nation. Hell, folks, maybe even the world, because the Trump administration's response to the Subway Superman here has him looking like as much of a martyr as the Tiananmen Square tank man.
It was noontime today in the center of Beijing when a man walked to the middle of the Avenue of Eternal Peace, which, as it happened, was already occupied.
The similarities are actually dystopianly astounding.
Remember that all it takes is 3.5% of Americans to force a government to meet the people's demands.
First here, I'm gonna play the full viral clip in its entirety, and then we'll talk about the Trump regime's dystopian response that drew the ire of the entire nation and made this man a martyr.
In other news this morning, a man faces federal charges for allegedly throwing a sandwich at a Customs and Border Protection agent. The agent was part of a group patrolling D.C. A bystander posted these pictures on Instagram. They allegedly show what happened Sunday near 14th and U Streets Northwest. The man in the pink shirt is identified as Sean Dunn. The sandwich is circled in red there. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro posted this video about the incident on social media.
He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
Police say Dunn admitted to hitting the officer while being arrested.
Wow, looks like the top federal prosecutor in D.C., Jeanine Pirro, put down the bottle long enough to make a coherent statement about telling someone to shove a Subway sandwich up their ass. I will tack the clip of her drunk interview on at the end if you'd like to check that out. But it wasn't just the Hegseth ex-former Fox phonies. You also had Attorney General Pam Bondi making a comment that immediately backfired on her as well, because she was fiercely ridiculed today after her statement condemning the alleged assault of the federal agent with a Subway sandwich. Writing on X, quote, "If you touch any law enforcement officer, we will come after you." She said, "I just learned that this defendant worked out of the Department of Justice. No longer. Not only is he fired, he has been charged with a felony. This is an example of the deep state we have been up against for 7 months as we work to refocus the DOJ. You will not work in this administration while disrespecting our government and law enforcement." Well, couldn't you guess? Critics were quick to point out, however, that the DOJ is currently employing a criminally indicted participant in the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol, Jared Wise, who was tapped by Trump to serve as an investigator with the DOJ. DOJ is employing Jared Wise, a January 6th defendant who called cops Nazis and urged the crowd to kill him as they stormed the Capitol. Some people, though, took it even further. You're tracking down and arresting sandwich throwers, but not the corrupt politicians and Epstein clients? Funny how they talk about respecting law enforcement while their own commander-in-chief is convicted and still under investigation in connection to Jeffrey Epstein, but that's apparently fine. But you all pardon 1,500 J6 rioters who attacked and harmed many Capitol Police. Your hypocrisy and fake Christian beliefs are off the charts. But fortunately, other DC residents railed against the federal occupation peacefully by booing, shouting at, and trolling agents in the streets. And really quickly, before I play you all of this humiliating footage, I just want to remind you all of something that I think is incredibly relevant right now called the 3.5% rule.
If you get nothing else from this video, remember that all it takes is 3.5% of Americans to force a government to meet the people's demands. Political scientists studied over 300 major movements around the world and found that when just 3.5% of the population engaged in peaceful protest at a key moment, governments were forced to listen and change course. That's about 12 million people in the United States, or like 3 or 4 people out of every 100 that you know. That's it. The point is, everyday people have the power to stop a slide into authoritarianism. In the Philippines, peaceful protests by 3.4% of the population toppled a dictator in just 4 days. In Israel, 5% of the country hit the streets and stopped the dangerous judicial power grab by Prime Minister Netanyahu. And here in the US, 4 million people showed up for the 2017 Women's March. 5 million just recently marched in the No Kings protests. We're already almost halfway there.
Racist citizens, he's not a real cop. 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 Racist citizens, he's not a real cop.
Che lasciandoti io
Where did they? Reveal what? I'm like the standard guy.
first one I saw. So my thought is there's not much going on here, so maybe they're practicing. Come on.
Absolutely incredible work by some real patriots here, and you can help support their message that's already going viral, make it go even more viral by dropping a like on this video, commenting, and subscribing to join our Really American Resistance so we can continue to thrive and grow and meet that 3.5% threshold to hold this government accountable and at least slow the slip into authoritarian fascism long enough for us to swing the pendulum the other way, or at the very least actually have our votes count in the midterms and 2028 election. Thank you all for watching. We could not do this without your support, and we greatly appreciate you. I actually put my email in another video that I made yesterday, and I got some incredible responses from all of you. That 3.5% rule was one of them. Shout out to Heather if you're watching, up in Canada. And I felt so inspired by what you guys have been sending me that I will be launching a Really American tip and comment email, specifically just for you guys to reach out to if you have information or just want to chat with us or whatever. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. I will update our page and some of the videos and our descriptions with that email address when it goes live. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I will see you guys in the next one.
What is the U.S. Marshal's title?
Serralta. It's Director of the U.S. Marshals, and it's Gaddy S. Serralta. Okay.
How do you spell the last name?
Serralta.
ASVA?
No, Serralta.
Oh, Serralta, right. Okay. So the head of the U.S. Marshals, Gaddy Serralta, will determine where they're going to be located, and I think there's going to be a show of force everywhere.
President Trump's hand-picked D.C. District Attorney, former Fox News personality judge Jeanine Pirro, just delivered one of the most painfully awkward live interviews in recent memory, and it's going viral for all the wrong reasons. In what was billed as an exclusive sit-down, Pirro appeared confused and completely unprepared. Within moments, she abruptly stopped mid-sentence to turn around and ask people in the background questions about the U.S. Marshals. For nearly 2 minutes, the live audience watched her fumble through off-camera chatter, apparently unaware the interview was still broadcasting. When she finally turned back to the camera, she began rattling off the information she had just been told, as if nothing had happened, making it obvious she hadn't been ready for even the most basic questions. The timing makes it even worse. This train wreck came right after a press conference where Pirro's slurred speech, stumbling, and erratic mic handling fueled widespread rumors she was drunk.
Out of time? That means he's had enough. Goodbye. Thank you. I want you to report on
But
this.
you said it's guns. You said it's guns on the street that's causing this problem. Are you concerned that the DOJ's funding cuts to gun violence prevention programs undermine the effort?
Stop it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
But what about the gun aspect of the gun violence?
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Social media lit up after that appearance with comments like, "Is Jeanine drunk right now?" Serious question, and she's definitely 7 out of 10 wasted here.